True story. Nope. A girl came and sat on my lap and talked to me for like 3 hours. And then she went off, had one dance, came back and gave me a cut. I felt like a pimp. Is up, YouTube. A little terminal knee extension, trying to get the knees warmed up for some squats today. Overall, just going to be a really quad focused leg day. A lot of squats, a lot of just quad. So we'll get some walking lunges, a lot of volume, and get after it. First couple sets, not really worried about getting too narrow with the stance. I'll try to work into a more narrow stance as I progress, but we're just trying to focus on getting the knees warmed up, trying to get the hips warmed up, and then kind of go from knees still feel a little achy, but once we get some blood flowing, we'll start working up in weight. Trying to work up weights really slowly, sneak in some extra volume, kind of just hitting like 3 challenging sets rep-wise at 225, then same thing at 315, and then we'll see whether we make a 365 jump or 405 jump. We'll see. Knees are still kind of warming up. if my knees just didn't feel like sore, I feel so strong. It's just both. I mean, my left knee is what I think about the most, but I think because I think about this one so much, I feel like this one's the achy one, because I feel like I put too much like pressure in it. But strength-wise, it feels balanced. I just think about it too much. But it's really just the sensation of like my knees feel really strong. They're just achy from the beginning. Like at 225, they're achy. Rest.
I know that's more.
My legs are plenty rested. My legs get 5 days of rest a week. Kind of. Imbalances, so trying to incorporate some more unilateral work, single leg work, especially on exercises like this where I don't have to worry so much about stability. I can kind of just focus on loading in the concentric and eccentric phase and just keeping all the tension and load in the right muscles, not shifting to the hip too much, not shifting left leg into the right leg. Trying to just rebuild these legs again. The leg press can be a great way to overload the quads because it takes your spine out of the movement, but it doesn't necessarily allow for the most ideal range of motion. But it doesn't mean it's not a great exercise. It should still kind of be incorporated to get your legs used to heavier loads. Great way to build strength in the quads. Not necessarily going to train you in the fully hip flexed, knee flex position though, so I wouldn't expect a leg press to really build your like bottom of a squat, for example. That's where I would incorporate more like pause squats, box squats, things like that to help build that bottom squat position. When doing the walking lunges, you're trying to transfer load into that front leg and then think about coming up as much as possible with just that front leg, almost as if you're lifting that bag leg off the ground to prioritize driving through that hip, through that quad, and not shifting weight forward through that back leg. But no, actually I don't have any leg extensions planned for today. Last time, well, it was a sled too, you know? The leg extensions to failure, this to failure, then that walking lunge sled circuit. If anything, the sled probably helped, but the walking lunges on top of all that did not. Outside. Quads have been put through a lot, so we're gonna hit some hamstrings, some calves, a little bit of abs, and then we'll be done. Rep structure wise, we're gonna hit about 5 sets. 2 are kind of more warm-up sets. 3 are then harder working sets. Weights are gonna be a little bit higher. Reps are gonna be a little bit lower. Tempos, everything's gonna be a lot more methodical though, all 5 sets. Also really focus on is making sure that my knees are actually pointing to more of like a neutral line, so my knees aren't flaying out. I want to make sure that medial line, inside line of those hamstrings are getting some pretty good consistent activation as well. I've noticed kind of just that one intention of trying to keep my knees kind of narrow, close together, and neutral, pointing forward or straight up, has made a pretty big difference in terms of the activation, the growth that I've seen, the soreness that I've seen. Boys looking thick! We got one more set here. We're going to take it to failure. And again, failure is kind of a loose construct, so failure is going to be basically where I can't move for maybe a third or a half of the full rep. So you'll kind of see me end with some partials as long as I can keep tension in the right places and not shift load into the lower back or to the calves or other areas in the body, then I'll still try to milk some of that activation as long as I can. Failure in that instance is really just not being able to move the weight more than halfway, but also really just starting to open the feet out, externally rotate that hip, and start using kind of more just the outside hamstring, which is already pretty developed. I need to start kind of focusing more on that inner hamstring, which is hard, and some people would even say you can't isolate, but I found keeping my knees really neutral maybe doesn't isolate it, as in it activates it solely independently, but definitely incorporates it a lot more. So trying to take advantage of that as much as possible. I once went to a strip club and left with more money than I came in. True story. Nope. A girl came and sat on my lap and talked to me for like 3 hours. And then she went off, had one dance, came back and gave me a cut. I felt like a pimp. That is officially a wrap for today. We're gonna go home, eat some food, shower, come back, train some clients, and it's basically the weekend. So, and 420.